I highly recommend it. 5 stars. Hi, hello, how are you? My name is Sarah from Sarah's Reading Nook, and today I'm going to be doing a July reading wrap-up. So I read 10 books, and I thought that was pretty exciting. Because before that, I was barely getting any reading done. You guys let me know if you have the same issue, but I was not able to read during the first part of quarantine very much at all. But then July happened, and there was like a fire lit inside of me, and I just was doing as much reading as I possibly could. Many of these books you saw me read during a vlog or a reading rush, but I'm just going to be naming them so that we can have a nice list and move on into August. I am also very aware of how late this is, so I'm not going to be talking too much about these books. I'm going to say what they are, give a little blurb, and move on. So the first book I read was a graphic novel, and it was Sailor Moon Volume 1, and I love this book. I think I've talked about Sailor Moon a fair bit here, so I won't say too much, other than if you haven't read the series yet, you really need to. And even if you are familiar with the TV show or the anime, and you have watched the movies, the manga is its own thing. So you should really read it. I highly recommend it. 5 stars. Excellent. But actually, even before that, I read Son of a Trickster, and so I'm gonna put a little card link up here, and you can watch my reading vlog for it. No surprise, I loved it, and I gave it 4.3 stars. It is about a boy named Jared, and lives in northern British Columbia. He cares for his mom, he cares for his family, and so you can see him sort of dive into the magical world the farther along the book goes. Very serious book. There are very serious adult themes, but it is a wonderful book, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that you read it. Following this, I read Solo, and that was a poetry book about Blade. And so now Blade's father was a very famous rock star. And the further along the book goes, the more Blade discovers about himself and also his family. If you read it, I would say go for the audiobook because there's music in it. It was excellent, and I gave it 4.1 stars. Have you read it? Are you thinking of reading it? Because you should check it out. Then for our book club, we read The Unhoneymooners. And The Unhoneymooners was a enemies to lovers trope type book. There is food poisoning involved. There is a fraudulent honeymoon trip to Hawaii, and it is hilarious. If you want to see my full thoughts on this, you can either watch one of my reading vlogs or you can watch our book club video where we discuss it. 4.4 stars, I would read it again. Then I read Charlotte's Web, and Charlotte's Web is about a little pig named Wilbur and how Charlotte, the spider, helps to try and save Wilbur from being killed at the farm. It's an adorable book. There are magical elements in it, and so you get to see the relationship between a spider and a pig, and also a girl named Fern. Excellent book, 4 stars, would read again. Next I read If My Dogs Were a Pair of Middle-Aged Men, which is a book by Matthew Inman, who's the creator of The Oatmeal. Now one thing you need to know about me is that I love comics. Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes, love them so much. And really, if you want a book literally about dogs and what would happen if they were actually middle-aged men, you need to read it. It's like 30-something pages, but I'm still counting it as a book, and it's in my 10 books. Next, I read Circe by Madeline Miller, and I had to give it 4.4 stars. It was so close to getting 5 stars. The beginning of the book was really difficult for me to get into, and actually, in my vlog, I almost had a breakdown because I had so many frustrated questions about the beginning of this book. I wasn't into it, I wasn't enjoying it, but then Nana from Lit Nana suggested that if it's difficult to get into a book, you could try pairing the audiobook with the physical book. And that's what I did, and holy, it changed my entire experience. And I really started to love Circe. And if you've read it, let me know what you think. And now I'm reading the Song of Achilles, and oof, it's good. Like, so far, it's good, so I hope it doesn't let me down. So next, a book I haven't talked about yet was Such a Fun Age by Kiley Reid. Now this book is fascinating. It goes over such themes as performative activism, race, One thing to mention about this book. I would honestly highly recommend the audiobook. It is captivating. I kept picturing Alex as Reese Witherspoon. Her character in Little Fires Everywhere is so similar to Alex that I just kept picturing Alex as Reese Witherspoon. I gave the book 4 stars, and I am looking for the live show that will be in August by the Hotties, so you should check it out. Then I read Pemmican Wars by Katherena Vermette, which is a graphic novel. And in this book, you see a girl named Echo, and she is discovering her heritage in this book. She travels back in time to a Saskatchewan prairie, visits a Métis camp, lives through the fur trade, and learns about the Pemmican Wars. I learned so much from reading this book, and there is a bit at the very end that goes over the fur trade, the Pemmican Wars. So I think that a graphic novel is actually an excellent way to teach history to readers while maintaining a high level of interest. I love the illustrations, and I would definitely recommend it. And finally, the last book that I read was The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. And this is book 1 of the Good Luck Girls series. And I think because this is like the last book of the month that I read, this one is the one that is the most fresh in my mind. I do not read a lot of fantasy, and I don't really read YA. This book mixes them together. So you learn about a group of girls called the Good Luck Girls, and so they're kept at a house. And the girls are literally sold there. So the girls find a way to escape. However, they have a tattoo on their neck, so they have quite a bit of difficulty escaping. And now this is sort of in a Westworld, Wild West, etc. type of theme. And as I was reading this, I love the characters, and I listened to the audiobook for this one. And I think the narrator did a pretty good job of being like creative and intriguing the whole way through. So this book, I gave 4.2 stars, and let me know if you're interested in reading it because I would love to discuss it with someone else. So that was my reading month for July. It was awesome. All of my books were good. I didn't read a single bad book. All of these books are books that I would recommend to you, and I hope you check them out. And that's kind of why I'm here, so I can talk about books. So if you enjoyed this wrap up and you want to see more of them, let me know. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and also subscribe if you are interested in watching future videos, and also make sure to click the notification button because that will notify you of my future videos, and I get so excited when I see comments. I love it so much. So that's all that I've read for July, and so far in the month of August, I've read 6 books so far. Like, I don't know who this girl is and how is she reading this many books, but I am definitely not complaining. So I am so looking forward to my August wrap up. That's everything for today. Bye!